All right, let's see how we're going to do this problem. So they are giving you a whole bunch of information, and we're going to figure out which of these types of function this one is, and actually find out how the function would look like. So x equals 4 and -5, so that eliminates first choice, second choice. So it has to be one of these three because there are two vertical asymptotes, and we know that vertical asymptotes come from the denominator. X equals 4 and x equals -5, which means x minus 4 is a factor and x plus 5 is a factor of the denominator. So horizontal asymptote is a non-zero number. What that means is cannot be this one, because here, if you look, when x is very large, we'll take the whole thing to 0, which means that 0 is horizontal asymptote here. Same thing here, because denominator degree is higher than numerator degree. So we know our graph is going to have this shape. Now it's just a matter of finding out what these components are. And so we already know that this bottom one is going to be x minus 4. This one is going to be x plus 5. Now we just have to figure out this top. So let's play a little bit and see how to work with it. So we have that so far x equals 4 and -5. Vertical asymptote means x minus 4 and x plus 5 are your denominators. Horizontal asymptote of -2 means leading coefficient of the numerator must be -2. And that's because we have a non-zero horizontal asymptote, means numerator denominator have same degree. Remember, if your denominator has higher degree than the numerator, then we have 0 as a horizontal asymptote. If numerator degree is higher than denominator degree, we have oblique asymptotes. So in our case, we have that x equals 1 is our intercept, which means that x minus 1 is our numerator. And since it should have the same degree as denominator, it must appear twice because there are no other x-intercepts. And so what should be our function, at least a possible value for the function would be what? Let's take a look. We have f of x must have -2 leading coefficient. X minus 1 bracket squared should be our numerator. X minus 4, x plus 5 should be our denominator. They also gave you that when x is -2, y coordinate is 1, because that's a point on the graph. You can see that here. -2, 1 is on the graph, which means that if you plug in x equals -2, you must end up with 1. And you can see -2 minus 1 is -3 squared is 9. 9 times -2 is -18. On the bottom, we have -6 times 3, which is -18. And so that resulting ratio is going to give you exactly what we want. And so this is going to be our function. So let's enter that into the options we have. So we said our bottom is going to be x minus 4, x plus 5. We said our leading coefficient is -2. We said our numerator is x minus 1 twice, because that is the only x-intercept we have. So that tells you what kind of equation belongs to this kind of graph. So just play with it and see what you can do.